A string of bombs struck churches in 5 Nigerian cities Sunday, leaving dozens dead and wounded on the holiday, authorities and witnesses said. The blasts mark the second holiday season that bombs have hit Christian houses of worship in a West African nation. In a statement issued late Tuesday, Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan called the bombings a dastardly act that must attract the rebuke of all peace-loving Nigerians. These acts of violence against innocent citizens are an unwarranted affront on our collective safety and freedom, Jonathan said. Nigerians must stand as one to condemn them. Bombs targeted churches across the country, hitting the cities of Madola, Jos, Kano, and Damaturu, and Kadaka, said journalist Hassan John, who witnessed the carnage in Dos. The death toll in Madala alone was 16. Nigeria's National Emergency Management Agency spokesman Yusuf Shaib told CNN. John said witnesses in Madala reported a higher death toll, with more than 30 killed. Some victims died after being taken to a hospital, he said. And Damaturu, a northern town in Yobo State, a police station and a state security building were also bombed, an aid worker said. The worker asked not to be named for security reasons. Nawakpa Okori, a spokesman for the Nigerian Red Cross, said some of the wounded were taken to the capital, Abuja, for treatment. The situation is under control now. The security agents have secured the streets close to the bombed areas. In Madala, Jos, and Damaturu, he said. Jonathan said his government will not relent in its determination to bring to justice all the perpetrators of today's acts of violence and all others before now. And in Washington, the White House said the United States officials would help Nigeria pursue those behind what initially appeared to be terrorist acts. We condemn this senseless violence and tragic loss of life on Christmas Day, White House spokesman Jay Carney said in a written statement. We offer our sincere condolences to the Nigerian people, and especially those who lost family and loved ones. The first explosion Sunday struck near a Roman Catholic church in Madala, west of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. The National Emergency Management Agency said church officials were trying to get a picture of what happened in the city. Ekpe Nyong, the Secretary General of the country's Catholic Secretariat, said the church was bombed. Said the church that was bombed was not a big church, but lots of people attend. Photos from the scene showed burned out cars and at least 3 bodies on the ground, one covered with a blanket, at the rural church. Usman Abdallah Baba, who witnessed the bombing, said there were at least 15 or 16 casualties, and the authorities were still counting the toll. Baba said the local people were already blaming the violent extremist Muslim Boko Haram sect, which has targeted Christians as well as Muslims. Its members consider insufficiently Islamic. In 2010, 5 churches in Jos were attacked while residents were celebrating Christmas Eve. The blast killed dozens in Jos, which lies on a faith-based fault line between the Muslim-dominated north and the mainly Christian south. Sunday, 2 blasts targeted the Mountain of Fire Ministry church in Jos, northeast of the capital, said John. No one was killed in that bombing, which John called a miracle, but a police officer who got into a gun battle with the attackers died of his wounds later, John said, citing officials. The second church in Jos was hit by 2 explosions when young men threw bombs, John said. Police responded quickly and exchanged gunfire with the attackers, who wounded at least one of the police officers, he said. The injured officer rushed to the Jos University Teaching Hospital for medical attention, but died of his wounds, John said. The attackers fled into the crowd and disappeared after attack, John said. Police arrested 4 people and recovered 4 unexploded devices, Nigerian state television reported. Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation and has the world's 6th largest Christian population, about 80.5 million people as of 2010. according to a report published this month by the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life in Washington. That makes the country just over 50% Christian, according to Pew figures. The latest attacks followed 2 days of clashes between militants and security forces in northern Nigeria. Lieutenant General Azubike Ihejirika, the Nigerian Army Chief of Staff, said the clashes left 3 soldiers dead and several more wounded. The fighting began Thursday between Boko Haram militants and the military in the Yobe State town of Damaturu, Ihejirika said. There was a major encounter with the Boko Haram in Damaturu, Ihejirika said Friday. We lost 3 of our soldiers, 7 were wounded, but we killed over 50 of their members. Boko Haram translates from the local Hausa as the Western education is outlawed. The crowd has morphed into an insurgency responsible for dozens of attacks in Nigeria in the last 2 years. Boko Haram's targets include police outposts and churches, as well as places associated with, quote, Western influence,